Only lifetime powertrain warranty. Visit CarsPlusGuam.com for details. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Starting now on primetime, this morning a crash in Garciaita leaves one man dead. Plus, with the eligibility lowered to 16 years and older, many headed over to the UOG Caval Fieldhouse and even the Jotnya Gym, ready to join the vaccination. And session continued today with lawmakers discussing a bill to refund certain bonds to save millions on debt service.
Hafide and good evening. I'm Adriana Cotero. One driver fled the scene and the other driver was pronounced deceased by hospital attending physicians. Exactly 1 week later, and today the island records another traffic-related death, marking the island's 5th fatal crash of the year. A two-car collision occurred along Route 8 Purple Heart Memorial Highway in Garciaita by SK Laundry shortly before 3:30 a.m. this morning. According to Guam Police Department spokesperson Sergeant Paul Tapau, a silver Nissan Versa was traveling east on Route 8 by SK Laundry when a black Lexus traveling directly behind the Versa collided with the Versa. Both vehicles ran off the roadway and crashed into a concrete utility pole. The driver of the Lexus was transported to Naval Hospital where he died due to injuries. The driver of the Versa fled the scene prior to police arrival. Sergeant Powell says at this rate, we are experiencing a trend in traffic-related fatalities this year.
We're still in the month of March, which is if you look at the calendar, it's our 3rd month of the year. So, this is, a good indicator that we're in a trend and we want to prevent that from happening.
GPD's Highway Patrol Division was activated. Traffic investigators closed down the roadway from the time of the accident until about 9:30 a.m. This case is ongoing, and according to Sergeant Tapau, the 4 previous fatal crash cases are also ongoing as GPD is awaiting autopsy and toxicology reports.
I know they did the field mapping, so it's really the speed calculation, and the one thing that we're waiting for, of course, is the autopsy and the toxicology report coming from the Chief Medical Examiner's office. So that's where we, determine where we can find whether impairment was a factor in any of the crashes that occurred within the roadways, the 5 crashes, or once we calculate and put in piece every evidence that we gathered from the previous crashes.
No arrests and no citations have been issued for any of the fatal traffic accidents that occurred this year. GPD reminds the community to remain vigilant, adhere to traffic laws, and designate a sober driver. Come one, come all. Anyone above the age of 16 may be eligible to receive the COVID vaccine. At today's Vaccination Sites, we got to see some of the younger generations tell us why they decided to join the vaccination. Peter Santos reports.
The age bracket for vaccine eligibility has finally been lowered to 16 and older, and we're starting to see some younger faces at the island's vaccination sites. And with about 50,000 more people now eligible to join the vaccination, Public Health's Vaccine Operations Chief Annette Uggins says the first day has been pretty smooth.
We've had a positive response so far. Once we opened the door, we've been having a steady flow. We've been seeing some of the younger generation, which is really great. And the 20-year-olds, we did have a family of 4, with 3 of them being teenagers. So, thanks to the mom for bringing them in. And again, just making sure everyone is protected across all eligible ages.
Speaking with some of the younger generations on why they made the decision to come out and get their vaccines on day 1 of the new eligibility bracket, each of them had their own unique take, but essentially they were all based around the same intention of wanting to do their part, not only by protecting themselves from the virus, but also protecting the community.
I have 3 siblings here. We all came down. It makes me feel safe, and it makes me feel like I'm keeping other people safe. The service here is good, they're fast, and I really encourage people my age to come down and keep each other safe because we're one island, one family.
I originally wanted to get vaccinated because I'm working and I haven't stopped working since the pandemic. So we plan to get the shot together because we have kids and, we just want to be safe around our family.
If resources are available to try to protect yourselves from the virus that's already growing, we definitely want it. It's worth giving it a try. So that's what we pretty much did, just to protect the ones around us, our family and each other from the numbers. Even if the numbers are decreasing, it's still growing every day, and so we wanted to come out here and try to help control it.
It didn't hurt at all, but I mainly took it so that it helps with the safety of others, especially like the elderly. And I just encourage other younger people like me to do it, especially since the age limit has been lowered. And I believe it's for the better of everybody.
According to Uggan, with the age bracket opening the floodgates to allow for a wider range of eligible vaccine recipients, the path to half by May 1st is looking more and more achievable. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Peter Sanchez.
The official memo is out. GovGuam employees can take time off to go get vaccinated. Governor's Chief of Staff John Jr. Calvo sent a message to agency heads to approve up to 3 hours of administrative leave during working hours for those who wish to get immunized. The employees will have to provide proof of their vaccination to their supervisor. The governor announced the voluntary program during a news conference on Monday. It's part of her drive to get as much as 50% of the population vaccinated by May 1st, which she calls the path to half. She also wants up to 80% by July 21st in an initiative she's calling Operation Liberate Guam. Preparations are underway to begin vaccinating the prison population at the Department of Corrections. DOC spokesperson Major Antone Uggan says they've been engaged with discussions with public health on when and the type of vaccine that will be administered. As final details are ironed out, an official survey of the inmate population will be conducted.
About 500 some prisoners, just under 600. When we asked a while back, probably about half of them were willing to take the vaccine. The other half were kind of on the fence about it. But I think, that can be resolved just by giving them a little bit more education and talking about what the vaccine can do.
Uggan says they're looking at administering vaccinations at DOC in Manilao and at the Hagåtña detention facility at the end of April. Public Health has been given the green light to allow for 3 feet social distancing for in-class operations from kinder to 12th grade schools. All other safety protocols remain in place to include mandatory mask wearing. According to Public Health's guidance, 6 feet social distancing is still required between teachers and staff and between adults and students at all times in the school building. The administration is trying to squeeze out as much money as it can get in the face of tight economic conditions. Today, senators discussed a bill to refund certain bonds to save millions on debt service. Nestor Lecanto has more.
Senators met in the Committee of the Whole to discuss the refunding of bonds backed by business privilege taxes. Budget Director Lester Carlson says it's a straightforward refund for savings model.
The structure of the refinancing will allow for a $5 million savings in fiscal 21. That'll help mitigate the collection shortfall that we're currently seeing with the BPT. This is a very prudent policy measure that will allow for debt service savings in this fiscal year, $19.9 million in fiscal 22, and $13.1 million in fiscal 23.
Carlson said the refunding at lower interest rates will actually reduce the government's overall debt and will not extend the bond maturity date. But then the discussion shifted to the government's financial condition. Speaker Therese Terlahi brought up newly released monthly data that shows while the revenue shortfall narrowed in February, it's still about $22 million or 2.9% below projections. If it hits 3% or more at the end of any quarter, it triggers a fiscal realignment. Terlahi asked whether they plan to use any of the well-reported $600 to $660 million in discretionary funds the governor will be getting from the American Rescue Plan.
If there's a need to inject some money into the current year budget for continued public safety, public health, public education requirements, she is looking at that. But as far as cost containment, we're always looking at ways to contain costs.
Meanwhile, Senator Joanne Brown says while the legislature may not have any discretion over the governor's rescue plan funds, they will have their say on all other appropriations as lawmakers prepare for upcoming budget hearings.
Everyone talks about the $661 million that's falling from the sky and how wonderful it is, and the governor's saying it's my money, not your money, I get to decide what to do with it. There's still going to be components of the budget we're not going to have control over that funding, as we will with these bond proceeds. And I think I would like to look at the budget, certainly as a member of the legislature, and see where those critical needs can be addressed with money that is within our authority to appropriate, so that those areas that don't get support and funding can be funded.
For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
All GovGuam employees will be required to complete ethics training if a bill just introduced by Senator Sabina Perez becomes law. The measure mandates ethics training for new hires within 6 months and would give current employees 18 months to complete it. All employees would also be required to take a refresher course every 4 years. Perez says the timing is right, citing the recent unemployment claim fraud by a Department of Labor employee as an example.
I think education is so important when we're thinking about addressing many of our issues, and this is a good investment back into our civil service. So what ethics training would do, it would reinforce the fiduciary responsibility of all GovGuam employees. It would reinforce the standards of conduct as well as open government law.
Currently, only elected and appointed officials are required to complete ethics courses. In a response to Public Safety Oversight Chair Senator Jose Pito Terlahi's inquiry into Guam Fire Department personnel allegedly clocking in hours they are not working, Fire Chief Dan Stone denies the allegation and says all hours are correctly logged and paid out accordingly.
All of our firefighters are compensated for hours worked, and so that's what the basis of my response back to the senator was.
Earlier this month, Senator Joanne Brown received a tip from an anonymous source about concerns with Guam Fire Department personnel. The concern being that certain GFD personnel are allegedly working hours they are not entitled to, with firefighters who had been assigned to work administrative duties receiving overtime compensation for hours they were not working. Public Safety Oversight Chair Senator Jose Pito Terlahi shared the alleged concern penning a letter to GFD Chief Dan Stone. Senator Terlahi received a response from the fire chief, who was hoping to clear up any concerns.
There are no uniformed firefighters that are being compensated for work that they're not working. It's also understood that the work schedules for those firefighters that are performing administrative duties do not reflect that of those firefighters who work out at the fire stations, as the example. So they definitely do work basically an 8 to 5 kind of schedule, but they do a lot of other things that would support the Guam Fire Department.
As outlined in the response, Chief Stone explained the numerous tasks uniformed firefighters assist the department with. He says they perform vital administrative duties and have a work schedule that falls outside of what the traditional platoon work schedule reflects.
Being assigned to the mass units, the communications band in the event that that's necessary. And then of course with the pandemic, they have absolutely been filling those roles that we need them to fill because we need all of our uniformed firefighters that are out at the stations now working. They've been able to fill our decontamination team requirements, which is being filled by our fire prevention personnel. We've got them doing a bunch of stuff to fill that need.
Additionally, the chief explains that since the onset of the pandemic response, they have been staffing the 24/7 Command Post Center operation. And on top of the regular day-to-day requirements, there have been several additional tasks added to an already stretched staff. Although this question has been a reoccurring concern prior to the pandemic. And KUAM asked Chief Stone why he has repeatedly addressed this matter.
I'm not sure. I can only speculate, but it's probably because these firefighters are not working the schedule that they would see normally out at the fire stations. But they are absolutely filling a very critical and necessary role for us here administratively, up at the headquarters, down at our training bureau, and our fire prevention bureau. So I'm not sure why the question keeps coming back up.
But he says if anybody has any concerns, complaints, or unanswered questions, he encourages people to contact him directly or GFD's Staff Inspector's office. As for logging hours, he says the firefighters pulling administrative duties submit their timesheets like everyone else in the department, with timesheets going through several checkpoints starting at their supervisor to review by an assistant chief that validates the sheets before it comes to his desk. Chief Stone says he has yet to receive anything in return from Senator Terlahi. KUAM reached out to Senator Terlahi, who was unavailable for an interview due to the ongoing legislature session, and he did not have any comments to add at this time. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has ordered DTree Pumping Service to clean up its act. Specifically, the local company must adopt environmentally responsible practices for disposing and storing fats, oils, and grease, or FOG, and upgrade its facility to address Clean Water Act violations at its PD Santa Rita facility. It was in 2017, EPA conducted an inspection and found that DTree was mixing fog with powdered lime mineral to create a slurry and then dumping it on their facility grounds, which is about 300 feet from the Antantano River. When EPA went back to follow up in 2019, inspectors found no significant improvements. Fats, oils, and grease from restaurants, homes, and industrial sources are the most common cause of reported sewage blockages nationwide. GWA reports that these blockages cost island residents more than $500,000 annually and cause raw sewage spills. The Guam Environmental Protection Agency has issued a litter citation to an individual caught on video earlier this week illegally dumping in the Laddie Heights area. The video, which was posted on Facebook, had gone viral and eventually made its way to Guam EPA. Spokesperson Nick Lee says they were forwarded the video multiple times from the community, as well as from senators and the media. Inspectors from Guam EPA's Solid Waste Management Program conducted an inspection of the site and worked with Reventax as well as the Dededo's Mayor's office to track down the violator. Il Kim was cited for improper disposal of household waste. The site has since been cleaned up. Stick around for more news here in primetime. You're watching KUAM.
We get it. Living to the fullest is tough during COVID-19. You don't need to do it alone, and everyone needs a hand right now. We are here. Feeling overwhelmed? Call 647-8833 and let's talk. Mangagihem is a project of Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center.
Social distancing may be the new norm, but connection will always be our tradition. Through good times and tough times, we remain connected with you. Masks may be the new fashion, but protection will always be our style. You can always count on us to protect the things that matter the most. Sanitizing may be the new routine, but caring will always be our practice. We care about your loved ones and the things you value the most. And as we welcome our new normal, one thing remains certain. We will always be here for you. We're open and ready to serve you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
The Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce presents Fanatsu Famalawan, Women Rising, on Thursday, April 8th. This virtual conference will reach you wherever you are, featuring international experts and thought leaders sharing their stories. Experience on-demand sessions, masterclasses, and conversations to inspire and empower. Register today. Fanatsu Famalawan, Inspiring Innovation, April 8th at GuamWomen'sChamber.com. Special thanks to our change agents and our other community partners.
Swim on in for Ruby Tuesday Seafood Sensations and enjoy your favorites from the sea in perfect time for Lent. Get hooked on lobster mac and cheese, the salmon loco moco, or the deep sea pasta. There's a bounty waiting for you on the RT Seafood Sensations menu at Ruby Tuesday Guam.
KUAM News, winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
Welcome back. The grand jury returned a true bill on George Chambers Jr. for submitting falsified records to receive pandemic unemployment assistance benefits. According to the Office of the Attorney General, Chambers was indicted for forgery as a third-degree felony, tampering with public records as a third-degree felony, 2 counts of unsworn falsification of record as a misdemeanor, and 1 charge of unsworn falsification of record as a misdemeanor. The PUA program assists thousands of unemployed individuals whose jobs have been impacted as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. Chambers' arraignment hearing is expected to occur in the next couple weeks. Turning to district court this morning, 46-year-old Jason Brown pleads guilty to attempted enticement of a minor. Brown was indicted for attempting to use a cell phone and internet to entice a 13-year-old male minor to engage in sexual activity. According to court documents, in November 2020, the defendant initiated communication with the young boy on Grindr, then proceeded to ask for his phone number, where sexually explicit images and messages were exchanged, including plans to meet up outside the Anderson Air Force Base main gate to have sex. Although Brown was not met by the minor, but was approached by the feds. He initially refused arrest, with agents having to break into Brown's car window to arrest him. Inside his car, feds found an unused condom, a bottle of lubricant, and candy he promised to the minor. He faces at least 10 years to life in prison, a $250,000 fine, and a supervised release term of 5 or more years. His sentencing was set for June 21st. 32-year-old Carl Garciaita was arrested for terrorizing a female victim while armed with a gun. On March 22nd, officers responded to the complaint in Talofofo, where the defendant allegedly got into an argument with the victim. According to Guam Police Department spokesperson Sergeant Paul Tapao, the woman left for work only to discover Garciaita's car parked in her work's parking lot. While at work, she received threatening text messages from Garciaita, in which she called the police. Once officers arrived, they met with Garciaita and located a .45 caliber handgun. He was arrested for terrorizing, family violence, stalking, harassment, and unlawful possession of a firearm without a firearms identification. Garciaita was booked and confined at the Department of Corrections. The case has been forwarded to the Office of the Attorney General for prosecution. Cortec has been awarded a $75.5 million military contract to do work at the Marine Corps Base Guam. According to a DoD press release, the local company has been tasked to design and construct a distribution warehouse to support the supply of food services, medical logistics, storage, inspection, packaging, and pharmacy spaces. The contract also calls for the construction of a low-rise facility that includes individual unit issue storage and processing areas. The work will be performed in Finnegan and is scheduled to be completed by March 2024. And with regional headlines, here's KSPN 2 News.
Hafa Guam, here are the headlines for CNMI.
Governor Torres is moving forward in assistance for those struggling from the effects of COVID-19 with approval of the Lost Wage Assistance Program.
I will be issuing a directive to go ahead and move forward on the program. That is about $7.5 million. CNMI's share is about 2.5. So yes, I will be moving forward on giving, again, the extra assistance to our community that fall under the LWA.
The Lost Wage Assistance Program was approved by former President Donald Trump in 2020 and ran from August 1st through September, where federal money pays $300 a week in unemployment benefits, and the CNMI is to match the remaining $100, resulting in $400 a week. The CNMI government applied for a waiver of the $100 match, but was denied. Moving forward, Governor Torres says those who qualify will receive the full amount.
We're going to go ahead and pay our $100 and in anticipation that we will get reimbursed.
Governor says the money for the CNMI match will come from funds received from FEMA and the American Rescue Plan.
FEMA has agreed to allow us to pay out the $300 per week, and then until such time that our match requirement is required, which I expect they're going to give us a few months to then we would be making that additional $100 payment. So a total of $400 for those that qualify.
The CNMI had until March to disperse the money for LWA, but received an extension.
This program would have ended this month, but we did get an extension and an extension granted by FEMA just yesterday to allow us a little bit more time to pay this out. So I think that was a big part of our decision and the governor's decision to let's go ahead and make this program available.
Guerrero says the funding the CNMI received for LWA is projected to pay from 8,000 up to 10,000 people for 3 weeks. And if funding is left over, the program will be extended. Those eligible for PUA will be eligible for LWA.
Similar to PUA, if you received at least, there's a couple of basic pieces of information, like if you received at least $100 per week from whether it was the PUA program or any of the pandemic unemployment assistance programs, then you most likely qualify for the lost wages assistance.
Guerrero says he will be working with DOL Secretary Vicky Benavente to kick off the program, but no date has been set yet as to when the money will start going out.
For more news, visit saipantv.com. For KSPN2, I'm Ashley McDowell.
Coming up, our Dave Delgado has the latest and local sports action. And still to come, your Cold Stone Creamery birthday shoutouts. You're watching KUAM.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Más.
Try double filet sandwich for double the flavor. Just in time for Lent for a limited time. Served all day.
Guam is truly a majestic place with its sheer natural beauty, wealth of beaches, and culturally rich landscape. Unfortunately, Guam has a real problem with unwanted invasive species. Help us in preventing their introduction and spread. The coconut rhinoceros beetle, the little fire ant, the African snail, Siam weed. These are just a few of the numerous invasives on Guam. Follow proper custom procedures when bringing plants and animals into Guam.
Help protect Guam. Tell your family and friends about invasive species.
To report invasive species, call 475-PEST.
Half a day.
Hi.
That will be $20, please.
I forgot my Mobile Smiles driver's rewards card.
No worries. You can now use your registered mobile number to earn points.
Can I use my mobile number to redeem rewards?
Sure. Just show us your photo ID or driver's license.
That's easy.
What's up, Guam? Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports. Thanks for watching. Tonight on the show, I catch up with local surfers Irie Fitzgerald and Gerald Gogri, who are out stateside representing Guam in surf competitions. Check it out.
Really great. So stoked that me and Irie made the connection in Hawaii when I was there for a month, and we were training hard, surfing pretty much every day, twice a day. It's just good to see people from Guam taking the next step and chasing their dreams. It's really great to see the next generation of Guam surfing, and we and Irie push each other to get better, and we're always helping each other with technique, bouncing off ideas with each other, and so it makes it more comfortable going as almost like as a team, and represent Guam. And it was great, good contest, good experience. I started off with a fourth at the first contest in Huntington Beach, and then got better, and my last contest in Oceanside I got second, and it was really good having Irie there because I feel like it was just comfortable. Like, me and Irie grew up surfing together in Guam, and it's always great to see the next generation chase their dreams. So I'm really stoked to have Irie out here in California training with me and doing these contests.
What were surf conditions like out there, Irie, and the competition level in your division?
The first competition was definitely smaller than I expected after surfing Hawaii a lot, but I used my smaller wave board, and I've been also training on small waves for those kind of situations, so I was fine. The division I was in was under 18, and WSA is one of the main competitions in California. So I would just say that the people in my division were up to the top girls under 18 in Huntington Beach, California area. So that's definitely super sick. I'm just stoked that I got third in the first WSA competition I've done. I've never competed in a WSA Huntington competition before, so I was just happy that I did pretty good on my first competition there.
Jared, what's next for you as far as competition and just continuing that grind of getting better and hopefully, taking first in a huge competition?
The next contest I know it's another WSA in mid-April, and then the WSL World Qualifying Series are gonna try and start some contests again. I know it's a tentative event in T Street, San Clemente. So that's the next level up. That's where you can qualify for the World Tour. It's just been a long time since they've been on since COVID, and so that'll be my next step in April, and then after that there's another contest in Oceanside in I think it's in June, and then there's another contest in Hawaii actually in May. So I might be bouncing back over to Hawaii. I'm stoked that there's comps back up and running again. I'm really stoked to getting the ball rolling again, and I'm just really stoked to be living the dream.
And for you, Irie, how has your surf career been since leaving Island? getting noticed more, and I see your social media page has been really active with a lot of followers.
So after I headed over to Hawaii, my social media definitely went up a lot. I also started posting a lot of videos on my TikTok account, and I have around 50K followers on that social media platform. So that also helped me gain more followers on my Instagram. And Hawaii is just full of photographers and really nice people that will introduce you to like photographers and stuff like that. So I definitely had more photos to post and more people reaching out to do photo shoots and stuff like that. And also I realized that when my location is in Hawaii, my videos and photos definitely get pushed out to the public around me more. So my views definitely went up, and that definitely helped me get more like sponsorships coming in. Lots of brands come out and reach out and ask me to, you know, if they can send me some of their product for me to just shout it out on my story or post it. And I've definitely gotten some like brand deals and contracts, and I've been making some money during this pandemic, so that's really great because it's been tough, and it's helping me for competitions and like entry fees and flights. So that's really good. Everything's helping out, and I'm very glad for that.
Well, that's it for sports. We're back right after this.
For the different beats of your life, we're here to keep you connected the way you want it. Plans made for you, by you. Build your own bundle with Link. Select the internet, entertainment, mobile, and home phone plans that fit your lifestyle. Pay for what you want, not for what you don't. Build your own bundle and save with Link.
Whether you use your truck for work or play, you can count on Ram trucks. Built to deliver today and built to deliver for many years to come. Here at Cars Plus, it is Ram Truck Month, where you can get the best deal on a new Ram 1500 starting at a new low price of $31,995. You can call us at 477-7807 or visit our website at carsplusguam.com to schedule your test drive today.
We don't want to overhype the return of the quesalupa from Taco Bell, so we're skipping all the fanfare.
Oh, man.
We'll just tell you, the quesalupa's cheese stuffed shell is back, and we think you'll like it.
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shoutouts from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
Happy birthday on this Tuesday, March 23rd to Dorlisa Matanonia Cruz. Wishing you a happy birthday all the way in Washington. Please enjoy your special day. We love and miss you. Say your Matanonia families. Happy birthday to you. And a happy belated birthday, because born on March the 22nd, is Isaiah Jose Cruz Gay. Happy birthday number 2 to my baby. We love you oh so much. Say mama, daddy, your brothers, your sisters, papa, mum, and the family. We wish the both of you nothing but the best. Have a wonderful birthday with the ones you love, and have a fantastic Tuesday, because today is all about you.
Remember, you can be part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by registering online on KUAM.com. That's all the time we have for us here on Prime Time. Thank you for watching. Have a good night and be safe.
Welcome back. Here's your House to Home segment with Jason, Liz, and Gina.
House to Home, presented by Remax Diamond Realty.
Good day, everybody, and welcome to House to Home. Liz and Gina are at Remax Diamond Realty. I am at KUAM. They have much more colorful backgrounds, but you know, I like this. I like my logo. I feel safe in my logo. And hopefully, ladies, you are being safe and healthy too. No doubt there. How are you guys?
We're good. Very good.
All right. Hopefully business is good as well. Maybe not booming at this point, but doing all right.
It's good.
Okay.
We love
Well,
real estate.
Well, one of the practices, Gina, you were side chatting about an interesting topic with me. A lot of people believe that if you have cash and maybe in large amounts, that buying a property, that may be a bartering tool. Like you could say, I can bring the amount that I'm going to buy from a seller down because I have a large amount of cash. That does have some repercussions, though, right? And cash isn't always the great equalizer that many people think it is.
Well, if you're planning on paying for something all cash, the problem you're going to have is, let's say you're buying land and it's 60,000 and you have the 60,000 in cash. Number one, the escrow companies, as far as I know now,